throws the ball upfield, open in the end zone, and it's going to be a touchdown.
Oh, he wasn't down. He's going all the way. That's a touchdown.
It is a beautiful night for football here in Wilmington tonight. It's cool, nice fall weather. Welcome to Wilmington High School's Alumni Field for tonight's Wilmington community television coverage of tonight's game between the Melrose Red Raiders and the Wilmington Wildcats. I'm Chris Neville. Jim Boyle aside for me to call the play-by-play tonight. I want to give credit to our production crew, Adam Dusenberry down in the truck. And we have Sean Guiney on camera tonight with Marty McHugh and Paul Hipple down on the field. So we thank you for joining us. We have getting the coin flip at midfield right now. We've had the national anthem. We'll be back right after this for the opening kickoff.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this season is sponsored by Red Heat Tavern Catering, bringing their backyard grilling experience to you. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs. And Josie's Bakery, an Italian-influenced bakery where modern meets old school.
Jim, Wilmington is coming in on a couple of flat tires into tonight's game. They're really struggling.
Yeah, the Wildcats come in 0-2, played Bishop Fenwick last week. Got beat, I think, 40-6, and somewhere around there. Did give up 2 long kickoff returns, so it'll be interesting to see what their plans are when they kick off. But it looks like they've won the toss and have selected the receiving side of it, so they don't get stuck in that hole. Melrose, though, comes in at 2-0 off a convincing win over Lincoln Sudbury last weekend, where they pounded the ball and ran hard. So it'll be a very interesting start for the Wildcats. See if they can establish the run to work in and out of the pass. There is possibility we could see freshman Joey McCauley, number 10 at quarterback, making his first career start or getting some playing time. We'll know that was a game time decision for Coach Turner.
Shea Fogarty is teeing the ball up for the Red Raiders at their own 40-yard line. Back deep for the Wildcats, Bailey Smith, number 43, and Andre Turner, freshman, down at the 10-yard line to receive the kick.
Yeah, and Andre Turner scored the only touchdown last week on a pass play.
Kick comes down at the 20, and it's taken by one of the up men. Looks like actually Smith down to the 35, 36-yard line, and it's at 43. Yep, Bailey Smith took the kickoff back.
So it will be McCauley with his first varsity start, the freshman, coming off an ankle injury as well. So we'll see how they decide to play it. I assume that Smith will be in the backfield and they'll spread the 3 or 4 wide receivers out. He's a primary target has been the Turner kid, number 26. So we'll see how the Wildcats.
McCauley takes the direct snap, passes out to the side to complete to Robards, who picks up about 4 or 5 yards on the left sideline. So it's a good start for the freshman.
Good quick opening play, quick play. Robards has made a season of getting open on those quick plays. Nice catch too. Advance the ball, just keep your calm and see what you can do.
Jared Venezia, number 20, just came in as probably a blocking back. Second and about 4 for the Wildcats. Ball sits at the 42-yard line. Just underway here at Wilmington High School, Friday the 27th of September. So a full house backfield, yes. Handoff up the middle is good for maybe a yard or so.
And that's been a problem all year.
Smith.
Sorry, Chris, that's been a problem all year offensively, as the offensive line hasn't been able to get any push, and they get the handoff to Bailey Smith. He's met almost immediately at the line or 1 yard in the backfield. So establishing a running game is going to be important, especially with a young quarterback, but it's also imperative that with this big defensive line that Melrose brings here, like I said, they're ranked high in Division IV. They're 2-0. It'll be a tough slog to get that running game going.
This is a very young offense. I see Gavin Erickson coming out split wide to the left. Looks like John Germano in the slot on the left. And the handoff is to Turner. He cuts to the left, and he's knocked out of bounds. It's going to be close to a first down, but I think he's a little short by about a yard or so.
Yeah, about a yard short, trying to use the speed to try to catch the edge, and I'm sure in this game Coach Turner's going to go for on this short distance. It'll be interesting if they try to hand the ball off and run up the middle, but here again, I try to use your speed against this big defensive line.
I'm kind of surprised this early in the game. I know Coach is trying to get something started here, but with a freshman quarterback under a lot of pressure, not even a midfield yet. Wildcats are going to go for it, a 4th and 1. Hand off to Smith, and I think he might have made it. Yeah, whoops, he's still going, and he picked up 3 or 4 yards in the carry.
Good, tough sledding there by Bailey Smith. Hit the hole. Knew they only got a yard. Got about 2, 3 on the play there. Good positive event here on that 4th down. And
Coach Turner breathes a sigh of relief. Knows that the drive will at least continue close to midfield.
Good for the freshman quarterback too to get his game feel, get feel for the game.
McCauley back to pass. Let's go to the right, and it's just barely overthrown. Good attempt there, intended for Turner.
A little bit long on the out pattern though. It looks like it is open, but that's just maybe the jitters. He'll get his sea legs going, and that play will be easily made. But the problem with there is you bring up a 2nd long, which is difficult to overcome. You want to stay ahead of the chains if you can.
So aside from Robarge, very young on the receiving core right now. 4 receivers split out with Bailey Smith in the backfield. He takes the handoff, tiptoes across midfield for a gain of about 3. Stopped at the 48-yard line of the Red Raiders.
So a small improvement. Again, small incremental improvements are good. They are opening a few holes. Bailey is not getting hit in the backfield, and he's hitting the hole, picking up some positive yardage. So instead of a 3rd and 10, excuse me, they have a more manageable 3rd and 7 for the freshman quarterback.
Coach obviously showing a lot of confidence in his young quarterback coming off an injury. Wildcats come to the line, 3rd and 7. 9 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Back to pass, McCauley blitzes on. He steps through it, tries to escape, but then he's taken down from behind for loss of a yard. He evaded the initial pressure, and then the defensive lineman and the linebackers caught up.
So that's the first time that Melrose has brought pressure, and I'd assume he'd punt here. It's not a 4th and short, I'll go 4th and 8 like you said, Chris. But again, first time the McCauley has seen pressure, stepped up into the pocket, but there was way too much pressure up the middle for him, and he wisely tucked the ball in and didn't turn over and lived to see another day. Number 3's back.
I think it's Steve Smolinski into kick, maybe.
Yeah. And for Melrose, 2 and 3 are back to receive the punt.
So it's Sean Herbert and Chris Cusolito, 2 of the co-captains. Kick is down to the 19-yard line with Peter Germano. Takes control of it. Raiders will take over 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. So after about a 30-yard punt.
So for a team that has shown some not great special teams play this year, and I get a look from Jamie Pote from the town crier, it's a positive that they got a nice punt inside the 20. They returned the kickoff there, and they haven't turned the ball right, avoiding the turnovers, playing better on special teams, and let's see if they can actually stop the running game here of this powerful Melrose
quarterback. Team. Number 12 is Brendan Fennell. He's the I think he's a junior quarterback. Inside handoff goes to the left side, and he's taken down the backfield for maybe a loss of a yard.
Steve, that was Smolinski, 41, with the shot the gap, made a nice tackle.
Looked like Bailey Smith was in there too to string that out. So it's going to be 2nd and he must have picked up a yard. The ball came out to the 20, so it's going to be 2nd and 9. Handoff again up the middle, big hole up the middle.
That's
breaking free to the 40-yard line across midfield. That's Chris Cusolito, who scored 3 touchdowns last week, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown early on.
So a pretty simple play there, just a handoff up the middle to the back, and he broke into the open quick and with his speed, an 80-yard touchdown run. So no flags on the play. Melrose will take a 6-0 lead here with 7:34 to play.
So a tough start for the Wildcats on defense here. Looked like Melrose might have been watching some game film for the last couple of weeks and went right into the heart of the Wilmington line. They're unable to stop him once he got into the backfield. The extra point kick is up and good.
So again, Melrose is a team that is going to run the ball. They got their quarterback can run. They got 2 running backs that are really solid, and I would not be shocked to see them continue to pound the ball. It was just interesting that the first play they tried to get around on the edge, and outside linebacker Slinsky made a really good play. Second play, they just pounded right up the middle, and he got daylight. And once he got into daylight, his speed just outran all the Wilmington defensive players.
So 7:34 to go in the first quarter. Melrose Red Raiders jump out to a quick 7-0 lead here. So again, Turner and Robarge are going to be back deep for the Wildcats. And it looks like Joe DeMonico and Bailey Smith are going to be at the 20-yard line, the short men. Ball's teed up at the 40. And Shea Fogarty steps into the ball. It's a pretty good kick. Comes down at the 13-yard line, taken by Robarge. He's up at the 20, the 25. Looks for some running room, but he's hit head on there by a couple of Raider tacklers.
So the second offensive series for Joe McCauley will begin. And again, I think that first offensive series, they got the initial first down. Some of those quick out passes were open. Might be time to maybe open up the passing game a little bit more. Bailey Smith has runs for some tough yards, getting a first down on 4th and 1, and then also picking up 3 or 4 yards on another carry. So it's imperative that they at least can establish some semblance of a running game, because you saw what happened on 3rd and 8. They came with pressure up the middle to their freshman quarterback, and you can't be behind the sticks that much with a freshman at the helm.
Okay, you got Erickson and Germano on the left side. Inside handoff to Bailey Smith, and he's taken down for no gain again. Once again, no blocking up front.
So again, it's imperative you try to establish the running game. You don't want to have them just coming flat out at your quarterback. But that was a play. I'm trying to figure out who made that play. 34, I think that was the middle linebacker, as they're playing like a 4-4-2.
Matt Hickey's a sophomore. Sorry, a junior.
Yeah, as they play a 4-3 base defense, excuse me.
Okay, McCauley back to pass. He puts it out into the arms of number 2, their captain, Chris Cusolito, back into the end zone for another quick touchdown. Second of the game for him on the interception return that goes back about 25, 26 yards.
So the turnover monster bites again. That one, and not to pick on our freshman quarterback, but he looked that pass right into the receiver's eye. He was looking right here, and the defensive back just stepped right into that play. I think he's arguing with the coach that somebody went the wrong direction. But again, this is what's going to happen with inexperienced players, especially at the high school level, especially in the Middlesex League. Teams like Melrose who were playing for state championships. You got to be a little bit more diverse.
Zach Federico puts the extra point up, and it's good. And with just 5 minutes and 14 seconds into the game, Melrose takes a 14-0 lead.
So, we're coming to you live from Wilmington tonight. On the date is September 27th. Just in case you're not watching this live on September 27th, if you're watching this like on Monday or on our YouTube channel or anything like that, we are not live if you're watching it on YouTube. But if you're watching it on WCTV.org or over the airwaves, we are live. And if you are watching, if you want to tweet us back at WCTV, maybe we can put a mention in for you as well.
We'll get back to you next week if you do that. And if you decide that the game is too one-sided, the Red Sox are on Nesson. And I'm not sure who's watching more games tonight. Who's watching more people? More people watching.
Yeah. I always still go. I think that
like
because they want to hear the dulcet tones of Chris and I, they're listening to us. We promise though no singing.
Okay, Fogarty ready to tee it up again. Lets the ball go. It's a good kickoff. Once again down to Robarge at the 10. Across to the 20-yard line. Finds a little bit of running room, and he's hit by a swarm again at the 25.
So we got not bad field position, good catch and return. Now it's again imperative. You got to think now. You're down 14-0. What do you don't want to panic. You got like I said, you got Joey McCauley making his first start in his career. He's a freshman, so he's young. The speed level's probably a little bit more than he faced in middle school league or in Pop Warner. So he'll make some adjustments. Again, you don't want a learning experience to get yourself pounded into the ground. So try to establish some more of the running game. Try to get the edge a little bit. Throw those quick out passes. And if you have to, see if you can go make them try to stretch them out a little bit.
Mark Alwood was in on that tackle for the Raiders on the kickoff coverage team. Hand off to Smith, sprints to the left, has some good coverage on the defensive front, and he stopped for a loss of 2 or 3. So once again, no running room for the Wildcats.
Again, Bailey made a really good cut there, but he had 2 guys out, and he had to cut away from when he turns and takes that play back into the inside. He runs into 2 more defensive players. So again, you're behind the sticks again, as they say. That seems to be the new cliche, ahead of the sticks and behind the sticks. And you're at 2nd and long. It's putting a lot more pressure on your freshman quarterback.
Commented earlier, Melrose is ranked as a tie for number 1 in the power rankings for Division 4 North. Wilmington, unfortunately, is at the bottom. I think they're down in the bottom. Well, they're bottom feeding this year so far. So let's see if they can turn it around here. McCauley back to pass. Pressure comes on. He lets the ball go, but nobody over there at the 40-yard line. I think it was intended for Erickson, but he was tied up at the 30-yard line, couldn't get free. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 12 for the Wildcats.
Yeah, there you want to live to see another day or another play. You know, throw that ball away. You don't have any, you had a little pressure coming. You don't have anybody open. Just throw it away. So things that you're going to learn as you keep playing here and there. So big play here for the freshmen to try not to, again, the key here is, to be honest with you, don't turn the ball over here. Don't fumble it. Don't throw an easy interception. You're down 14-0. Work. You remember what your skill sets are and play to your skills.
I know screenplay worked pretty well a couple of weeks ago, but let's see, the pressure comes on again. He lets it go, and it's going to be complete to Smolinski, who picks up 3 or 4 yards down along the right sideline out to the 27-yard line where he's taken down.
Again, there's a positive there in that play. I know they gained about 4 or 5 yards, but the positive is he stood in the pocket. He was ready to take the hit. He had good strong arm, got the ball out into the flat. Smolinski made a nice catch, turn it upfield and run. But again, when you're behind the sticks, the 4-yard play on 4th and 12 is not going to be as effective as the 3rd and 12 as the 4-yard play on 3rd and 5. So that's not Smolinski, is it?
In to kick for the Wildcats this week, Luke Murphy, sophomore. Number 45 takes the snap from center, lets it go. Short kick, about 20, 25 yards downfield. It drops, crosses midfield, and looks like he actually played it himself. Bailey Smith downed it there at the 47-yard line, I guess.
Again, took a Wilmington bounce, a sophomore punter. Not bad. At least you didn't go negative yards there. So Melrose will take over here, and it's imperative again for the Wildcats to understand that they're going to try to pound the ball, and they got a lot of 2 or 3 different versatile people can run, quarterback, 2 running backs. So let's see what we can line up with here, because our defense has actually played 2 plays. You know, the first run, which was an outside run, and then the run up the middle.
And we'll talk about it later in the game, the change to 12-minute quarters, how it's going to affect some of the stamina of these kids that are playing both ways. So handoff to number 3. That's Chris Cusolito again around the left side, finds a lot of running room, but there's a flag in the field, breaks multiple tackles. He's going down the field, knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line. I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, we have a hold. I'm assuming it's going to be a hold. One of the players here tackled, it looked like Smolinski, who looked like he had a beat on the play. Again, we are not sophisticated enough yet here at WCTV to provide replay, but if we did have replay, you would have seen as the back was turning around the left corner, one of the linemen just decided he was going to tackle it, and I think it was Steven Smolinski.
But if you're sitting by your DVR at home watching this like next week or 2 weeks from now, you can play it back right now and see exactly what Jim Boyle's talking about.
Yeah, see if I was right. No, there's the hold. So, good. So, number 50.
So Cats catch a break.
So now they're way behind the sticks.
They lost about 13 yards on the holding call behind the line of scrimmage. Fennell, handoff again to number 30, who finds big running room up the middle, breaks free, and Andre Turner takes him down on a arm tackle down at the 44-yard line.
Again, this is what we would expect from Melrose. They're going to challenge you. They're going to man up at the line of scrimmage. They're going to hit you, and they're going to play smash mouth and try to run the ball all night.
That was Bill Pesci and a running back, another senior co-captain.
So a short, 2nd and short. Coming up.
Handoff up the middle, another huge hole up the middle with no coverage, down to the 15-10, touchdown. Is that 24?
34, I think. I'll tell you in a second.
Matt Hickey, co-captain, just junior Matt Hickey on the touchdown.
Again, not to sound like a broken record, but completely dominating the line of scrimmage, opening up the hole. No middle linebacker there to stop that, and almost untouched into the end zone from the 45-yard line.
So Federico in to attempt his third extra point of the night. We still have 3 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the first quarter. Kick is up, and once again it is good. I hate to say it, Jim, but we kind of expected that this was going to be an uphill battle for the Wildcats all night long.
That is correct. Again, just facing the first 2 games of the season for both teams and what each team had done. You had Melrose coming in off a big win over
Lincoln Sudbury last week.
They beat Lincoln Sudbury last week 41-7. They played Malden week number 1 and beat them 46-6. Our Wildcats came in with a close game against Woburn, lost 17-8, and then Division 6 powerhouse Bishop Fenwick took us to the cleaners with a 40-6 win. So we kind of expected, again, this is going to happen a lot for Coach Turner. It's a young team, very young team. Actually, we're thrown out there on the field, especially with a freshman quarterback. So you might be saying to yourself, I'm going to take my lumps this year and maybe try to build us up for the coming years. And it's not a lot of options. So you're going to take a pounding every once in a while.
So Robage and Turner again deep back, standing at their own 10-yard line. Shea Fogarty steps into the ball for the 4th time tonight. Comes again to Robage, takes it up the middle of the field. Finds a little bit of running room across the 30 down to the 32-yard line. Tackle is made there.
Again, if we do look for positives, the positive would definitely be that we have the special teams have played relatively well. We have not made mistakes on special teams. We do have the 1 pick 6 from our offense, but a positive there being we returned that, and it's going to be a timeout here because I think Robar's got beat up a little bit.
So 3:39 left to go in the first quarter. Just a couple of reminders. Bring your attention. The Wilmington Rotary Club is holding their annual auction on Friday, November 15th over at the Knights of Columbus. It's their main fundraiser every year, and most of that money goes to scholarships for Wilmington seniors every year. So if you're in a position you want to come down to the Knights of Columbus on November 15th, feel free to join the Rotary Club. There's also a $10,000 auction that night. They give away $14,000 in prize money. Tickets are $100 a piece. You can get them by contacting the executive director at Wilmington Community Television, who's a Rotary member, John Doherty at Wilmington Insurance, Rob Peterson over at Robert Peterson Law Offices, or you could come and see me as well. We can get you tickets. They're $100 a piece, maximum 350 tickets being sold, and again, $14,000 in prize money to be given out that night, November 15th. So keep that in mind, and if you have maybe tickets you want to donate to help us raise some money, that'd be great as well.
Always good to give back to the community. I mean, we have a lot of people in this town who volunteer a lot of their time. No matter what it is, whether it's announcing the football games, doing the play-by-play, doing the television, the cameras, producing it, going out and working for Rotary, for Wilmington Little League. It's always good to get out there and volunteer, and if you can't volunteer, buy a ticket, and it'll help our students get scholarships. Here we go.
So McCauley is in, and I see Jared Vanessi of the blocking back. Hand off to Smith, and once again, he's still, legs are churning, but he's thrown for another loss. I think they're going to give him up to the 31-yard line, the original line of scrimmage.
It's going to be a tough go right now. Melrose's defensive line is completely dominating Wilmington's offensive line. So and I understand he put the extra blocking back to help Smith to maybe help open up a hole. That sort of backfired a little bit as well. So now you're 2nd long, and you got a freshman quarterback, and see if he can make some good quality yards here on this play. It's a good learning experience.
Back to pass McCauley. Pressure's on. He steps up into the pocket. He scrambles and he goes down. He picks up a couple of yards on the scramble.
Again, for a freshman, good intelligent play. Saw the pressure come, pulled the ball down, tucked the ball away. Knew he might get hit, went into the slide to help himself from getting totally decapitated by that Melrose player. And he, again, you live to see another down. You pick up 2 or 3 yards. You now, again, it's 3rd and long, but it's still a viable down. You didn't give the ball up. Not sure with I think he had broke his foot or his ankle. Not sure which. I'm not sure if that's going to hamper him at any time as well.
So McCauley takes the snap, steps up, and once again the pocket collapses on him. Thrown for another loss. There were 4 receivers downfield, but nobody open, at least nobody he could see. And it's going to be another 4th down and punt formation for the Wildcats. Loss of about 5 yards on the play.
And once again, when they get in these 3rd and long situations, 2nd and long situations, Melrose is bringing pressure right up the middle, allowing their defensive backs man-to-man coverage. We are keeping Bailey Smith in as a blocker, so you're really going 4. You're going 4 against 7 as the quarterback's back.
Kick is away. It's end over end, and it's looked like a fair catch that's muffed, and it looks like the Wildcats recover it. So they finally catch a break. I think it was Captain Sean Herbert that dropped the punt. I think he had signaled for a fair catch, and it bounced off his hands. And Marcelo Mizuraca is the one who jumped on the ball at the 45-yard line. So Wildcats catch a break here with decent field position for a change.
Correct, the first positive play for the Cats. I mean, I think the Melrose receiver, it's the 2nd time he called for a fair catch, and he's just not getting himself into position. First time he let it drop, that time he tried to make the play. Good heads-up coverage by Mizuraco. And let's see what we can do now with some field position in the Melrose side of the field.
Okay, we got 2 tight ends, and handoff up the middle to Smith, who actually finds running room for the maybe first time tonight. Gain of 4 yards down to the 41.
Well, again, like you said, Chris, 2 tight ends, technically 2 backs in the backfield, looking to try to at least help out with the offensive line to try to open up some holes. 2 wide outs, that's all, instead of going with the spread of the 4 and trying to take care of their defensive line with our 5-man offensive line. Looks like he's going to maybe try to start to pound it in a little bit, offer some help. Same thing to this play.
And off again to Smith, who squeezes through for another 2 or 3 yards, maybe 2 yards down to the 39.
So that's 2 consecutive positive plays with the running game. Again, we're down under a minute here to go in the first quarter. Wilmington trailing 21-0, and it's again imperative. Again, young quarterback, you got a senior running back, you got a inexperienced offensive line. You can establish any semblance of running game here. Now you have 2 plays under 5 yards. He can do almost anything he wants here.
It looks like, even though it doesn't show on the clock, we're down to the end of the first quarter here. The Wildcats 3rd and 4 will change ends, and we'll be back for the second quarter action right after this message from our sponsors.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this season is sponsored in part by Align Credit Union. Align offers a variety of banking needs, from savings and checking accounts to mortgages and home equity loans, plus CDs, IRAs, car loans, and more, located on Lowell Street next to Lucci's, or online at aligncu.com. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this year is sponsored in part by Red Heat Tavern, located at 300 Lowell Street. Red Heat's catering service brings their backyard grilling experience to you. Their event platters or boxed lunches can be customized to suit any occasion and the dietary needs of your party. Online at redheattavern.com/catering, or you can email catering@redheattavern.com.
We're back.
Yes, we are.
And hopefully for the Wildcats, the second quarter turns out a little bit more productive than the first quarter. After the first quarter of action, the Red Raiders are up 21-0. They've completely taken the starch out of the Wildcats tonight. What do you see ahead here, Jim?
Well, again, just to end the first quarter, we established at least a semblance of a running game. It's important that we continue to establish the running game to take a little bit of pressure off our freshman quarterback. Allow him to grow into the game. Bailey Smith picked up about 6 yards on 2 carries. The shorter you have on these 3rd downs, the better off. I think it'll help. It helps to increase the probability of getting a first down. If you're 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 9, Melrose is going to come right at you. So imperative here.
See what happens here. You get 1 man in the backfield is Smith, man in motion. Hand off to Turner, who finds a little bit of running room. but he's taken down before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Knocked out at the 41-yard line. Good thought process.
Good thought process. Yeah, he might have been able to cut that up just a hair bit earlier, but again, we're talking about freshman, sophomore players here, and it's a learning experience, and the game is fast, and this is a good Division IV football team. Melrose is. So you gotta understand how the speed works. I mean, you might be fast when you're with your teammates, but there's going to be 3 or 4 players on their defense who are just as fast as you are. So it takes time, and I think I'm hoping to see us show some growth. They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Yeah, once again, at this stage of the game, it's still early, but if you don't start to make some positive momentum, it's not going to come to you. So McCauley's back to pass, pressure's on. He lets it go, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. So Melrose is going to take over the ball on downs at their own 41-yard line. Fortunately, poor Joe McCauley, he's cutting his teeth, but he's seeing what Tristan Champ has been going through the last couple of weeks.
That is correct. Again, it's the difference here. If you punt there, you might punt them down to like the 20 or the 15 to 25. They're going to get the ball in the 41. But the way they have run the football up the middle, it could be the difference between an 80-yard touchdown run and a 65-yard touchdown run. So again, see if they can step up on defense. I'll see how they try to plug the middle here. Maybe pinch the linebackers in the middle to try to push, try to get the plug in the hole. So it'll be imperative, again, your defensive line, the responsible with them on these running plays is to occupy their blockers so that when the running back comes through the hole, you can make the play.
Okay, Fennell back to pass. He sprints out to
Nice
the right,
catch.
and it's going to be complete along the sideline. Inside Wilmington territory.
That was your Tom Brady throw right there. Throw it low and have your guy go down and pick it up. And a nice catch. An average throw, really good catch by the receiver. But that's going to come all the way back because we have a flag on the play.
Well, Cats catch another break. Hopefully it'll give them a little bit of momentum here. Sets the Raiders back another 5 yards.
And if you're watching the Sox game, momentum is the next day starting pitcher. But in football, it's a little different.
Okay, Fennell in the shotgun position. Boy, Melrose does look crisp. Oh, and a nice tackle. Jared Venesia comes in untouched on the from the defensive line on the right side. He takes the quarterback Brendan Fennell down for a loss of another 7 or 8 yards back inside the 30-yard line.
So the Melrose coach decides to throw the ball the first 2 plays, and he's going backwards about 15 yards. Good play by Venenzia. He cut the edge, and the left tackle must have played the old Olay defense there as he just beat him to the spot. So let's see if they try to be more conservative here. I'm sure they're trying to operate differently.
Back to pass again. He has it out down the field on the right, and it's almost, well, it's broken up. Incomplete down at the 40-yard line. Coverage down there by Gavin Erickson for the Wildcats.
So they try to throw the ball right shoulder pass to the sideline, almost connected. Really good defense by the Wildcats. Did we say that was Gavin?
Erickson, yeah.
Gavin Erickson, really good set of defense there. It looks like they're going to go for it up 21-0.
Brendan Marr on the intended pass.
So they're going to run the football, and this 30 who's been running free. That nice tackle.
Gain of about 10 or 11. Couldn't tell who made the tackle there, but
looked like Bailey Smith made that tackle. Good tackle, turnover on downs. So consider it the first turnover for the Wildcats as they turn them over on downs. Well, now it's, well, you know what? They have the numbers wrong. So that was because of the penalty. They had switched up the numbers on the sideline were wrong. This will be 4th down. My apologies.
So 4th and 14. Punt is away. Good pressure on by the Wildcats. Nice kick, and Christian Robarge, and he muffs the punt too. And another forced mistake, and the Red Raiders recover at the 34-yard line.
So the first quarter with good special teams play. Here in the second quarter, a muff punt. Can't turn the ball over down 21-0 inside your zone. So Melrose will take over on the 34-yard line.
It was really a nice punt downfield. I think it probably went almost 40, 45 yards in the air, and Christian had plenty of time to get under it and receive it, and I think he probably took his eyes off it for a moment. Ball came up a little bit short. So Melrose back in action at the 34. Back to pass Fennell. Lets the ball go deep downfield. Man is not open. Good coverage down there in the sideline by Andre Turner. Tell you, this Turner kid, he's got a lot of potential. He's not a big kid, but
He's 24.
yeah, clearly a good athlete. I'm sorry, Kyle Valley. Yeah. Oh well.
Again, that's
Good coverage by Kyle Valley.
the hard part
too.
is that for Chris, it's hard to see the numbers here at night with the blue uniforms. It's tough to recognize some of the numbers. I've made that mistake many times. So.
Pesci in the backfield, number 30. Handoff is to Cusolito around the left end. Finds big running room again down the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 15. So just about everything they're trying so far tonight is working, at least on the ground.
That's correct, as they got the edge there, and Valley made a nice tackle to save the touchdown. Again, it really comes down to how he wants to play his offense. It's obvious that they can dominate us on the line of scrimmage, so if he just wants to pound it up and run, or maybe he wants to see what his quarterback can do offensively, because there will be bigger and tougher challenges coming for them throughout the year.
Fennell has one man in the backfield. He keeps the ball himself, dodges a couple of tacklers, and he stopped. Well, he dances for a couple of yards. I don't know if that was a blown play or not.
No, it looked like a drawn-up quarterback draw, because
Yeah.
I know he scored a couple touchdowns in their game last week as well. So, not bad. Again, they have multiple tools in their toolbox here offensively, so it's really a matter. Let's see if it'll be a good opportunity for our defense to make a stand.
High snap to Cusolito, who dodges another tackle, and he waltzes into the end zone for the 4th touchdown of the game for the Raiders.
That was just a missed tackle by the Wildcats, number 41, Smolinski. He had him in the backfield, and he did a nice little shifty move by the running back, gets by to get their 4th rushing touchdown of the game. So the muff punt comes back to haunt the Wildcats.
Doesn't get much easier for the Wildcats coming up. I think they travel to Stoneham next week,
Oh, no, they have Watertown.
if I'm not mistaken.
I think they have Watertown next week.
Watertown next week, who was also undefeated. Stoneham is 1-1, and this kick is actually blocked. Like Smolinski or Smith got in 41 on the monitor. Yeah, Steve Smolinski got in and blocked the extra point a little bit. So 7:27 to go here in the first half, and Melrose pumps up the lead to 27-0.
So again, now it's a learning experience. Not even halfway through the second quarter. Again, try to establish the run. Work on things. Try to shorten the sticks for your quarterback. Not sure what he plans to do here. So does he keep Cauley in? Does he put Tristan Ciampa back in? How does he decide to do it? Ciampa's been getting beat up a little bit though as well, so it doesn't make for an easy game for a quarterback. But see if we can earn the kickoff, make some smart plays, run some clock. Don't fall too far behind, and look for small incremental.
Once again, Turner and Robart back deep for the Wildcats. Kick is off. It's a short one, picked up by Smith. Out to the 25, he's out to the 30, keeps on spinning and across the 30 down to the 33-yard line where the ball is blown dead.
So again, the up back there is Bailey Smith. He's got his hands guys deep because he must have gotten burned a little bit a couple to that type. Bailey caught the ball, made sure he had it. Good run, good hard run, which is exactly what you want and you're looking for. You're looking to make sure these kids are trying to continue to make positive plays, especially in the negative situation that you're facing. So McCauley will come back at it. It also comes down to, coaches will get to look at film here and who's playing, who's not. And it's hard with high school kids because it's a high school kid. It's not like we're talking about big-time college football or pros. But who's playing hard when you're down is an indicator of what kind of success you can have in the future.
And off to Joe DeMonico's in the backfield. Once again, he is also stopped for a loss of about 3 yards.
Yeah, Bailey Smith taking a breather here on the sidelines as he's one of those players who plays every play. Like we talked about with the 12-minute quarters, Bailey and a few of these guys are playing almost every single play, kickoff, punt, kick return, punt return, and Smith gets a one one play breather and he's back in.
Yeah.
But again, they are 18, 16, 18-year-old kids, and they're not old men like you and I, so it's easier for them to recover much easier.
I think we probably got some 15-year-olds in the field too.
Yeah.
McCauley is back, pressure is on, he steps up, spins around, taken down for another loss. Another 6-yard loss. Back to the 24-yard line. And the Wildcats continue to go backwards. It's going to be third down and about 19 yards.
And again, no matter who your quarterback is, if it's a freshman quarterback, if it's a senior quarterback, if you're playing where they're playing with the third and long or third and second long, this is what's going to happen.
Tristan Champer, it looks like he's coming into the game to try to restore some order to the offense. You know, it was an experiment, and so far it hasn't paid off, but you're playing a really strong team, and sometimes you like to break in against somebody that's not quite as strong. Champ is back to pass, lets the ball go downfield, and it's incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Robarge.
That's a timing play there, almost got it. Robarge was open. He would have been a first down. Champa with a really strong arm. He's also a pitcher for our baseball team. Champa with a really strong arm just overthrew that a little bit. Tough to come in technically cold in that situation, but I guess Coach Turner figures I need long distance. I don't want my kid getting hit. Champa's got a much stronger arm, and that was obvious on that pass.
Herbert and Cusolito back deep. Kick is away, and it's going to be spinning out just by midfield and across midfield.
Actually,
and it continues to roll down to the 43-yard line where the Wildcats will down it.
Not a bad punt there for the Cats. Push them back into their own territory. So, but again, Melrose is going to start in really good field position, and you know, again, it's really going to come down to what their Melrose coach decides to do with this game, because he is completely dominating and controlling the game.
As Jim said earlier, we're always looking for volunteers to cover some of the school sports here at Wilmington High School. If you're interested in covering field hockey, cross country, track, volleyball, or any of the fall and any of the winter and spring sports, reach out to the director at WCTV. We'll train you on all the equipment, which is top notch, and hopefully you'll maybe either build a career in the technical side, or if you want to do play-by-play, we're always looking for people willing to go on the air.
The Wildcats just got stuck right there with 12 men on the field, so coach had to call timeout. But again, welcome back inside the booth. Jim Boyle here with Chris Neville. It's imperative, again, we're young, that the coach is going to look to see what he can find. What do we have? How are we going to play? What are we going to do going forward? This is probably going to be the toughest, most physical team they're going to play for until they hit the playoffs, or the whatever they call that group of things.
The consolation round.
And then Tewksbury. So Melrose is right now looks like they're going to be the class of the Freedom Division, the Middlesex League. So again, small baby steps, incremental steps of seeing them get better and better if they can. You know, they did lose a 1,000-yard rusher from last year in Pete Marino, and it's not easy to replace that all the time, and they're trying to integrate a lot of young players. So again, I hope our fans can continue to root for us, even though we're getting beat up pretty good here.
We really don't have any real stud skill players the last couple of years. I mean, Peter did a great job last year, but the year before you had Tyler Roberts and Graham Smith and John Kenny.
Yep. And
you know, it was a very exciting season around here, and then they graduated together, and you know, let's face it, they struggled last year, and they're continuing that this year as well.
Yeah,
as you said, a lot of young players in.
It looks like Coach Turner is starting to make the turn toward the younger players to try to build the program from the ground up, and he might take a beating every once in a while.
Looked like a little motion on the front handoff.
Did look like it.
Big hole, Bill Pesci down the right sideline. He's finally taken down after a gain of almost 30 yards.
I think Erickson slowed him up. And was that Kyle Valley made the tackle, 24? Yeah. So again, they can do whatever they want in the running game right now, as their offensive line is pushing the Wildcat defensive line all over the field.
Back to pass. Ball's intended for Matt Hickey.
Good pressure on the quarterback there as well, so they get themselves into the backfield and force the quarterback to throw the ball quick. I'm going to try to spend a couple minutes here watching the offensive line play. And
2nd and 10 at the 32. Fennell hands off around the left end, well strung out by the Wildcats. Matt Hickey on the carry, picks up a few yards. It was good pursuit, but he stuck with the run and was able to pick up 5 yards on the carry. Very skilled offense for the Red Raiders. They're doing a great job, not only blocking but picking the holes.
And very patient running there. That's a he got the handoff, coming left, waited for the line, waited for the hole to open, and then hit the hole. Tackle for Wilmington was 52. Do we have a 52 on our list?
I didn't write it over here, so we do, but we're almost ready for action here. 52 is Vincent Genti. We're going to get a correct pronunciation on that. I noticed him earlier. Cusolito goes in motion to the right. Kind of went forward, scrambling, and Fennell, he finds the man wide open and down the corner of the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, the officials missed that. Definitely missed the officials.
Cusolito turned toward the line of scrimmage in motion before the ball was snapped, but they let it go. And we have another touchdown on the board for the Red Raiders.
So they decided to go touchdown through the air that time to try to mix it up a little bit. But again, probably should have been a motion penalty there. Was not called. Got to maintain throughout the play. Had pressure on the quarterback. Somebody missed, dropped coverage back on the left side of the defensive backfield, and paid the price.
So once again, Zach Federico in to attempt the extra point again, and again it is good. And with 3:34 to go in the first half, Melrose is out to a 34-0 lead.
So again, what do we have? About 3.5 minutes to play here in the first half. Imperative that our offense at least can eat some clock to keep them at 34 as we go into halftime. Again, it's obvious that Melrose is clearly a more superior football team than our Wildcats. So now as the Wildcats will have to, again, just have to grind things out and at least try to make some positive plays and be able to take something forward as you get ready, as you'll have to go down to get ready for Watertown.
If you're watching us live on Friday night, just a reminder that Sunday the Wilmington Tewksbury Chamber of Commerce is holding their annual half marathon and 5K road race. Begins in the parking lot of Wilmington Community Television Studios up on Waltham Street. And if you see the runners around on Sunday starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, be sure to give them a yell, shout out, give them some confidence as they make their way through the course. The kickoff is down this time to Andre Turner, who takes the ball up the middle of the field, finds a big hole, breaks free at the 50 to the 40, 30. He's going to go all the way. The freshman kick returner takes the ball back about 80-some odd yards for a touchdown.
He caught that clean. He hit the first hole, and he was touched like he break one tackle, and Mr. Turner just turned on the jets and made it all the way. Phenomenal positive play. We talk about looking for positives. Freshman return man takes it deep, takes it back all the way.
Well, maybe we should talk more about the Wilmington Marathon, because that brought a little stroke of good luck to the Wildcat
I can say that
tonight.
that Wilmington Marathon was started by one of our WCTV veterans, Mr. Tom Pizzara.
Tom Pizzara, yes.
Started that. I remember working with my son, must have been not even in kindergarten when we first started that, and we were at like mile 9 handing out water and cheering runners on. So that race is, again, another one of those things, what makes Wilmington a great community. And that kick return is going to bring a lot of smiling faces here to the sidelines for the Cats. And again, anything can happen. It's nice to put points on the board.
Smolinski in for the extra point. Champa to hold. Kick is up, and it is off the upright and no good. Bounce straight down. So at least a little bit of a break for the Wildcats.
He almost took that upright right down there. That kick hit that upright really hard.
I was told that they actually narrowed the uprights this year by a few inches. So last year that would have been a good kick. This year it's not. So 3:21 to go in the first half, roughly 34-0. Red Raiders are up over the Wildcats, who will have to kick off now.
Right. Again.
Did I say nothing?
Yeah. That's okay.
Felt like it. 34-6.
So again, a positive play on special teams. So we had the muff punt, and I don't think that was Turner who muffed the punt, and then we had the Turner kickoff return about 80 yards for a touchdown. Again, now you're Melrose. You're thinking to yourself, "Holy cow! We were smacking this team all over the place, and now they're kicking off to a scored touchdown, not against our defense, and something they'll now look at halftime. They'll have to shore up."
So Smolinski into kickoff once again. Well, actually for the first time tonight, I think. Sean Herbert and Chris Cusolito deep back for the Raiders.
Now, the way the coach has done things, I wouldn't be shocked if they try an onside kick here. You don't want them to
I have to agree.
You don't want to, or a squib kick up the middle to try to limit return damage, because their up backs look like they're some of their running backs as well. He's going to kick deep.
Ball is kicked downfield, taken at the 12. Up the middle of the field by Cusolito, breaks free on the right, and it looks like he may take it to the end zone as well, down to the 40, 20, 10, and a touchdown on the ensuing kickoff.
So back
Chris Cusolito.
So excitement here at Wildcat Stadium. What do we call this stadium anyway?
Alumni Field.
Alumni Field.
Alumni Field.
Alumni Field on the campus of Wilmington High School. Back-to-back kickoff returns for about a total, probably about 160 yards worth of kickoff returns. Sort of takes the wind out of the sails of the Wildcats after the big kickoff. For them, same thing happened last week where they gave up the 2 long kickoffs as well. So reverting back to their old ways, they decided to kick deep and could not make a play. And Melrose will get to kick again.
I will check with Jamie Pote from the Town Crier here in a few minutes to see when the slaughter rule takes effect, if it gets up to a certain position in the second half of the game. Jamie will have that answer for us shortly. Whoops.
That's not it. There you go.
So Federico puts another extra point up and through, and with 3:06 to go in the first half, it's 41-6. Yes, in the first half, folks. Thank you for joining us live at Wilmington High School. There's, I don't know how many people are watching live right now, but
42 or greater to start in the third quarter.
Okay, so the slaughter rule they say is 42 or in the fourth, 42 or
Third
greater
quarter.
to start. Okay.
30 to start the fourth.
Okay.
all right. So we got a little clarification there. Thank you, Mr. Pote. If Melrose scores one more before halftime and the Wildcats can't put any more points on the board, it'll be a running clock for most or all of the second half
Correct.
of the game.
Correct. Yes. But again, Wilmington will get the ball back, see if they kick away from Turner. As we have, again, the 2 up backs and are Bailey Smith and I don't know if that's Valley or not. And Turner and Robar's deep. No, it's 22, which is Delmonico. Let's see if we could return the favor. I've seen back-to-back kickoff returns. I don't think I've seen back-to-back
I would agree.
kickoff returns. So this will be exciting times here at Alumni Stadium.
Shea Fogarty ready to step into the ball again. They get some pretty good kickers on this Red Raiders team. A line drive kick, running to the sidelines. Smith picks it up near the 20. Tries to find some running room, spins around. He's out about the 23-yard line. The whistle blows. The play dead.
So the Wildcats will take over an offense deep in their in their zone.
See if Tristan Champa comes back out, or it looks like Joe McCauley's going to come out for another series.
Right. My guess there with Champa was because it was 3rd and about 25 that his the arm strength was an issue.
Good point.
And you probably wanted to get him to at least give you an opportunity to pick up the first down on the 3rd and long. Or he could have had a little bumps and bruises on our freshman quarterback.
So Venezia, the blocking back in the backfield with Smith. Hand off to Smith through the middle, and he picks up a yard or 2.
So this here is imperative that we eat as much clock as we can to get into halftime and get recharged, regenerate the batteries. Again, like we said last time we were on the air, you can run the clock down. Watch the back judge. His hand goes up when there's 10 seconds left on the game clock, on the play clock. So you run as much clock here as you can to not give Melrose a chance to get the ball and score again, or we'll be going running clock to start the 3rd quarter.
You know, the fans in the stands will probably be looking forward to watching the Wilmington High School Marching Band's halftime show.
I assume we're going to bring that live here on
don't
Friday
know if
Night
we are
Live.
or not. Back to pass. McCauley throws it downfield. Intended for Robarge at midfield. It's incomplete.
So much for my idea of trying to run clock here at the end of the half.
Well, you know, you got to talk about something. That was Charlie Haggerty on the play on the defense for the Melrose Red Raiders. Brings up 3rd and 9.
2:10 to play on the unofficially on the game clock.
Smolinski and Venesia come out. So we'll have to see. I'm sure it's a bunch of underclassmen out at the wide receiver positions. It's like Mizuraka split wide to the left, Robarge right.
Turner was in the slot.
Downfield, pass is
Somebody
intercepted again and brought down, intended for Robarge.
There's a flag right there, come on. Uncalled for by a play by the lineman for Melrose. I'm sure you didn't see it was behind the play where he, I think Joey McCauley looks like he's limping off the field, so we might have seen the last series for him. You don't want to, I mean, he's a freshman. I know you want to get him some playing time, but you don't want to get him hurt any more than he might be.
Charlie Haggerty on the interception for the Raiders. Brings the ball back in Wilmington territory at the 42-yard line. 2:04 to go in the first half.
2 minutes to run their offense.
And that should not be a problem based on what we've seen so far tonight. Quarterback keeper. Stopped for a short gain, actually 3 or 4 yards now by the quarterback, Fennell.
Little slow getting up there, Fennell. They got to help him up. He's limping a little bit there, so that could have, you don't want to see anybody get hurt now as you get a game like this. He's done a good job running the offense. They'll replace him right now with number 16.
So Jesse Gardner comes in at quarterback for the Raiders.
We're going to definitely see
Takes the snap, sprints out to the right, looks downfield. Pass is complete. Nice pass.
Nice
pitch
ball.
And catch.
Fresh off the bench, rolls to his right, hits his receiver right in the numbers. First down, Melrose.
27-yard line. That was Brendan Marr on the reception down at the 22, 1st and 10. Sprints to the left this time. Man blocking. Pass downfield is a little bit overthrown down toward the left sideline. That was intended for Ryan Mayer, brother perhaps.
Yeah, I think their brother's correct. And that play there, again, when he rolled to the right into his throwing side, and a nice pass here, they brought him left. He overthrew the ball because, again, his body got out in front. Arm comes around, the ball's going to go high. So, interesting play caller. 2nd down and 10. We got a minute to play here in the half.
I'm going to go with Marr. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect.
And we'll fix it at halftime if we have to.
Yeah, like Bill Marr. That's about the way the spelling is, right?
Pat Lucci is out to the left side, split wide. Back to pass is Marr. Lets the ball go downfield. He has a nice release. Overthrown down at the goal line. But he's got a strong arm. That was intended for his brother again, Brendan.
Yeah, this is Gardner. The kid got hurt. They ran a quarterback draw. Quarterback got hurt, and they've replaced him with a senior. He's a senior quarterback for them as well. So he came right in and fired away. So it looks like that's how the coach is going to play it here. Let's run our offense and see what we can accomplish here with 57 seconds left to 3rd and 10.
Matt Dussault, I believe, split wide to the left. Fake the handoff. Downfield, man wide open in the end zone, and another touchdown. Is that Cusilito again? Let's see. No, number 2. That's Sean Herbert, co-captain, senior.
So they bring the backup quarterback in. He runs. They run one running play. Throw the ball about 4 times. He connects in the end zone for about a 25-yard touchdown. Actually, a 28-yard touchdown pass.
And he's got a rocket for an arm.
Oh, he does. And he's a senior, so he's probably been around the program for a long time, replacing Fennell, who is a junior. So
Federico's kick is up and good.
So now we're at 48-6.
We're going to have to find some stuff to talk about for the second half. Melrose jumps out to a 48-6 lead with 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, I got plenty of stories. We're going to go on the story trip. I
know your days as a long snapper. Maybe you can tell us
I
a little bit about that.
I can tell you the feeling these kids are going through, because I played 2 years of football down in Pennsylvania, and we were 1-21 for my career, and we won the last football game of the year of my senior year on a last-second field goal, and the kid hit a little floater, and it just flipped up over the crossbar for the final. That's the only game we won in 2 years.
Wow.
So I understand what they're going through, and you're getting beat up and beat up and beat up, and you got to keep out coming back and firing and firing and firing. And again, it'll show the character of the kids here too.
It has the makings for a made-for-TV movie, no question.
Yeah.
You know, like the little long snapper and the extra point.
Yeah, and I skipped that one back too.
Okay.
Luckily,
All
our
right.
third baseman was our holder. He picked it up, put it
Let's
right
see
down.
if it goes to Turner, and it goes to Robarge down at the 8-yard line, straight up the middle. I see a lot of white jerseys. Breaks to the right to the 30, finds a little bit of room, and he's out to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, so a nice little return there for Robarge.
I think we'd all be better off if the Wildcats did not score before halftime, because we'll have that 35-point cushion. We're going to have that anyway, right? Is it 40 points you said, Jamie? How many points at halftime?
It's a 42-point deficit
All
right now.
Yeah.
So they'll start the ball off at the 35-yard line. It looks like Tristan Champa is back in at quarterback. I know McCauley limped off the field the last time. So in his first varsity start, have to start against Melrose is not really the easiest task. Hand off to Smith.
Hand off to Smith over the left tackle, gain of 5 yards, stopped at the 40.
Again, it'll be interesting to see how the Melrose coach decides to play it. They are not a huge squad as well. If I look across the way, you're probably looking about 40, maybe maximum 40 players addressed for the game. So what do you do with your second unit? And they've already shown us their second unit quarterback's got a gun.
Probably the last play of the first half. Champa back at his 35-yard line, hand off to Bailey Smith, who turns forward and gets knocked down for a gain of a yard. Clock winds down to zeros. And after the first half of action here at Alumni Field, Melrose Red Raiders are up 48-6 over the Wildcats. We'll be back for some of the second half, all the second half action after this message from our sponsors on WCTV.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this season is sponsored in part by Align Credit Union. Align offers a variety of banking needs, from savings and checking accounts to mortgages and home equity loans, plus CDs, IRAs, car loans, and more, located on Lowell Street next to Lucci's, or online at aligncu.com. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this year is sponsored in part by Red Heat Tavern, located at 300 Lowell Street. Red Heat's catering service brings their backyard grilling experience to you. Their event platters or boxed lunches can be customized to suit any occasion and the dietary needs of your party. Online at redheattavern.com/catering, or you can email catering@redheattavern.com.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football is sponsored in part by Josie's Bakery, an Italian-influenced bakery where modern meets old school. You can find some of the classics with a modern twist, plus breads, cakes, and cookies, meats and cheeses too. Located on Lowell Street right next to Tremezzo, or you can check out their pictures and videos on Facebook and Instagram.
Club is selling small fun apple cider donuts.
Welcome back to Wilmington High School's Alumni Field. for the second half of tonight's game between the Melrose Red Raiders and the Wilmington Wildcats. At halftime, the Red Raiders are up 48-6, and the slaughter rule has been enacted, so there'll be a running time clock for the second half tonight. Jim, not a lot of good things to say for the Wildcats except for one play.
Yeah, not a lot of good things. Again, the kickoff return is great. Now, again, like I said, this is the second half where you're going to show what the character of our team is. They're getting their butts beat in. It's tough. It's a tough team. They'll come out after halftime, at least put together a good second half. The running time will probably help us. It's just going to be, that's just what's going to happen. Melrose is in a league way above where we are. I know Coach Turner's trying to develop young players. It's very difficult to do that when you're getting beat by 42 points. But, again, that's what we have to look forward to. We will kick off to start the half. Most likely we might start to see some of Melrose's second-team players. You never know. But, again, let's see if we can do look for positive things here in the second half. I always say this when I do the basketball team, and they're playing, again, we play in the Middlesex League. We're playing bigger schools. Just the coaches are looking for things that are positive, the little positive things. Not sure about quarterback situation because of the injury to McCauley, so we might see Champa for the second half. But again, this is about you got Watertown next week. You want to stay healthy and be ready to go next week. So again, you're not going to come back and win the football game. You can think about it. Let's say it's 48-6. What's the second half score going to be? Look for, like I said, positive, little encouraging events to happen and take it from there.
From a positive standpoint, it is a nice night for football, and it's a pretty decent crowd here. I will say that the band did an incredible job at halftime on the field. I don't know if we caught any of that. Hopefully some of that footage will make it into the rebroadcast tonight. But frustrating.
And I know we're going live, so I've gotten I've heard there's two people, two faraway places watching us. I know at Framingham State, I just found out that last year's 1,000-yard runner Peter Marino Jr. and Fitzy are watching the game live on their laptops at Framingham State. Just you two guys better behave yourselves. And I do know that my son's down at Rhode Island getting ready for Big Friday night down at Rhode Island. They were supposed to watch at least the first half. So hopefully after he got hit in the head, I think he's going a little crazy on me. But a shout out to that. Again, if you're watching, it'd be nice to hear from you. You can critique us if you would like to do that. You do anything you want, but it's good to hear any kind of feedback we can get would be great, so we know that at least we're providing that service.
And if you want to come back, Peter will put a jersey on you and we'll let you play here and help out the Wildcats, your alma mater, here tonight. We're almost ready for second half action. Wildcats are coming out to tee the ball off. As they said, it was a nice halftime show for the Wildcats, and hopefully you'll enjoy the second half of tonight's game. I don't know if we can get a little shot of the Wildcat cheerleaders here. Can we get the cheerleaders for a little acknowledgement? Either Sean or Marty, cheerleaders maybe, so let's see if we can put a little focus on them to cheer us up tonight for the second half.
Yeah, cheerleaders not just cheering football, they're a competitive cheering team. Coach Sakara, I think it is, who is from the Deb Smith coaching tree. You can see Deb as well. They usually do a really good job performing within the Middlesex League and competing at the state level. So again, shout out to them as they provide entertainment as well as a really good physical skill sets that they have as cheerleaders.
Smolinski squib kick, and it's going to be recovered by the Wildcats. Recovered by Christian Robach just over the 50-yard line, so that worked perfectly.
So we were one kick ahead of ourselves because we said it wouldn't be shocked if Coach Turner did the onside kick at that point in the second quarter. But what Coach Turner decides to do there is he squib kicks to start the half. Our onside kick, no return. Get the ball, start the half, see what we can do. And again, I think they're since we are in the slaughter rule 42-point lead, it's running clock. So this half should go a little bit quicker. You won't have to listen to any.
And Peter Germano comes out, I think, to play quarterback. Number 1, sophomore. And his brother John, number 2, lined up on the right slot. See what he can do. Hand off to Bailey Smith, who tries running room, and he's stopped right at midfield. No gain. Actually a loss of a yard.
Again, not a lot of push for our offensive line. Again, and then with new quarterback, again, another opportunity for somebody to get a chance to perform. I don't know how deep we are at quarterback.
I think we've seen it all tonight.
This could be it.
So this could be their...
Because we had a freshman, a sophomore, and a senior. And
Peter's opportunity to get a little bit of game experience as well. Pass on the flat. Oh, it was intended for Robart. It bounced off his fingers, almost picked off.
catchable ball. I hate to criticize like high school kids. That was a catchable ball. The kid made a good throw. Maybe a little bit too zippy, but you got to zip it there because he was surrounded by Melrose players. But again, Robart has played so well on those quick passes all season long that it's hard to. That's getting a little nitpicky here at a 48-6 game.
So 10 minutes to go, 10:15 to go in the third quarter tonight. And I think Smith's still being in the backfield with Peter Germano. Sprints out to the right, looks downfield, lets the ball go, and it's off the fingertips again of Robart. Don't know if his feet were in bounds there, but the ball bounced off his fingertips, out of bounds. It's going to bring a fourth down for the Wildcats.
And definitely a punting down here, I would imagine.
I see Tristan Champer's back in the game, so
it might not be a punting down.
You know,
because Smoonsky came in. Again, it comes down to if you're the coach, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Here, you want to again, you're trying to
actually
build
we are punting,
so.
But you know what? With Champer the up man, maybe with a little trickery up our sleeves here.
Yeah, I hope they don't show any trickery because if Watertown or one of the Stoneham or Burlington watch this game film, they'll know all our tricks.
It's a good kick, comes down bouncing inside the 15, inside the 10, inside the 5.
And Germano
Looks
down
like
that.
It was touched initially at about the 8-yard line, so I guess they're going to call the ball dead at the 8.
I think that was one of the Germano brothers, right? Petey Germano, number 1. So they get down there, they're going to pin them back, and let's see what Melrose decides to come out with here to start the third quarter. I would have to say this looks like a different offensive line that they're out with as I look through the binoculars. Yeah, not as big.
Brendan Maher is in at quarterback for the second half, and looks like Jake Rowe is his running back. Hand off to Rowe up the middle, dances around, taken down by a few Wildcat tacklers at the 10. I'm going to stand corrected. The number 16 is the quarterback, Jesse Gardner.
Well, now it's changed again on you, Chris.
All righty. We'll figure it out as we go here.
They bring in number 7. Oh, fumble.
Fumble, and
recovered by us.
Looks like the Wildcats may have jumped on that at the 5 or 6 yard line.
This is like when the Patriots put Jason Stedham into the game and to the quick pick 6. They put all their backups in, and again, this is why their young players are backups. So let's see if they can capitalize on that turnover.
Shane Roberts recovered the ball for the Wildcats. Trevor Botto was in at quarterback on that play for the Raiders, so we don't have any of those names ready, so bear with us.
So as Chris picks up names and numbers, we're start 1st and 10 at the 10. 1st and goal from the 10.
And Peter Germano was in at quarterback. Bailey Smith is the running back. Snap, he sprints to the right. Bailey's into block.
Throw it, get rid of it.
Peter tries, then he's thrown for a big loss down at the 18-yard line.
There's an inexperienced mistake. You had 1st and goal at the 10. You roll them to the right, you lose 8 yards. All you got to do is more veteran, experienced quarterback would have probably thrown that ball away. Again, you have a sophomore quarterback playing his first varsity action, and he instead he eats it and gets sacked for an 8-yard loss. But again, these are things you're learning. These are learning experiences. Again, as a coach, things you're trying to teach your kids now are play hard, play through, don't make any mental mistakes, really. If you make the physical mistake, you make the physical mistake.
Germano back to pass, lets the ball go downfield. Man is there, and it's intercepted in the end zone by the Red Raiders. Intercepted by, once again, there's so many new players. Charlie Haggerty on defense. Actually, I think that's his second interception of the game for the Raiders.
I think that ball was intended for Andre Turner there. And he threw that into, again, harken back, triple coverage. Young quarterback. That was the play call. I'm sure you're going to do, there's a lot of reads going to be made by sophomore or freshman quarterbacks. He made the first read, which is his read through the ball into the...
Otto in at quarterback now. Hand off to number 29, I think. Sprints out to the right off tackle for a couple of yards. Shea Fogarty. Gain of 5. Brings it out to the 24-yard line.
So again, it looks like we have the second, most likely the second team, Melrose, in here with a 48-6 lead, 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. So again, Wilmington, again, small incremental successes is what you're looking for.
Botto handoff to his running back on the right.
All right, so that's again, we don't have a replay, but
Fogarty again.
That's been the play they've run very successfully all game long. They pull their left or right guard or tackle, and they counter against that. So they bring the guard and the running backs coming into the hole where he pulled, not following him through the pool, and our linebackers are shifting on the pulling guard or tackle, leaving that space open. So they've run that play successfully with every set of running backs that they have.
3rd and 3. See if the Wildcats can come up strong on 3rd down here. Botto calls signals, handoff to the second man, who's going to be taken down for no gain. Number 33, Jake Rowe, in on the carry for the Raiders. Brings up 4th down.
53 for us, 5-3.
It's like Shane Roberts on the tackle for the Wildcats.
And again, force a turnover, successful onside kick, force a turnover, force them to punt. So looking for the small gains you can. Running clock, this game's going to go fly by here. Again, now
Kyle Valley is back with Christian Robarge deep for the Wildcats and to receive the punt. And I think we have a timeout maybe. Looks like Melrose called timeout prior to the kick.
Somebody called timeout.
I don't know if they run the clock during the timeouts.
I think that's the only time they stop.
Yeah, okay, so 3:57 to go in the third quarter. Melrose has 4th and 3.5 or 4. So Wildcats will get the ball back in decent field position.
Huh? You don't run the clock during the timeout. Okay, we're getting from the official timekeeper here. The rules here is that at the only time the clock stops when you're in the mercy rule or whatever we're calling slaughter rule is on a timeout by one of the teams. I'm sorry, and they're rewinding the clock here, so we'll going back live.
So Kyle Valley, number 24, and Christian Robarge, number 8, back deep for the Wildcats. Punt is away. It's another good one. Going to come down, bounces at the 35. Robarge picks it up to 26, sprints to the right. No running room, cuts back across the field, across the grain down the 32-yard line where he's taken down. And the Wildcats will take over there and see if Peter Germano looks like he's going to come back out at quarterback again.
Yeah, the keys here is A, keep everyone healthy. B, don't let it get too chippy so you get somebody thrown out of the game. And then C, like I said, now that we have Germano in the game, see what he can do. The coaches are going to be able to look at game film at the end of the tomorrow if they decide to torture themselves. But at some point over the weekend, they're going to look at the game film and try to figure out what they're going to do. And we got a big fight in the stands too. This is trouble.
All right, we'll ignore that for the moment. And Germano has 2 runners in the backfield. Hand off to his brother John. Cuts up to the right. She picks up about 5 yards out to the 37-yard line. 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats.
Yeah, a little scuffle in the stands there. Again, these are things that happen in ball-outs, and you would hope that your students can at least behave themselves, whether they be Melrose or Wilmington students. The police are now coming over. 2nd down?
2nd down and 5. Hand off to Smith, sprints out to the left around the left tackle. The hole closes, but
got the edge.
Looks like he makes the corner. Yep, he's down out for a 1st down. That's might be the 2nd 1st down of the game for the Wildcats.
Real good hard run by the Wildcat, by Bailey Smith there. He did get the edge, gets the 1st down, and it looks like we'll have a 1st and 10. So I don't know if that's the 2nd or 3rd 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Robarge splits out wide to the right, double tight end formation. Hand off to actually keeps it. Germano keeps it, and he goes nowhere.
Not sure if that was the classic RPO or no, there wouldn't be a P though, or read. Does he keep it or run or give it to Bailey? But he made the incorrect choice on that play.
I think Will Overland, number 54 on the defense, was in there to make the tackle on Peter on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 14.
So we're going to have 1 or 2 plays left here in the third quarter.
Yeah, a little over a minute to go in the third quarter, the running time. And off to Smith, who gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, gains about 3 yards, taken down at the 42-yard line. And with about 44 seconds left in the third quarter, this may be the last play of the quarter, unless it's, well, I guess it will be the last play of the quarter.
It will be, definitely. 3rd and 12. Again, like we talked in the first half, you can't play behind the sticks. You can't be in negative territory. You cannot every single time you have a 3rd down have to go 8, 12, 10, 12 yards. It's not a recipe for success at any level of football.
Back to pass, lets the ball go deep downfield, down to the sideline.
Turner almost came down with that.
Intended for Turner, but he had double coverage over there by the right sideline. It's going to bring up 4th down and 12 for the Wildcats, and they're going to have to punt it away. At the end of the third quarter, Melrose continues to dominate the Wildcats. At the end of the third quarter, the score is 48-6. Red Raiders over the Wildcats. We'll be back right after this for one more message from our sponsors.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football is sponsored in part by Josie's Bakery, an Italian-influenced bakery where modern meets old school. You can find some of the classics with a modern twist, plus breads, cakes, and cookies, meats and cheeses too. Located on Lowell Street right next to Tremezzo, or you can check out their pictures and videos on Facebook and Instagram.
We're ready to start fourth quarter action here at Wilmington High School. Wildcats on punt formation from their own 41-yard line. Kicking the ball back to Melrose, score 48-6. Any observations of the third quarter?
Well, the best news about the third quarter, other than the running time, is that we scored 0 and they scored 0. So it was the game scores that we have at halftime. There were positive events happened there. We did stop them on a 3rd and long. We recovered the onside kick. And he's got a third quarterback in the game to get them some experience. Bailey Smith picked up 10 yards on 2 carries. Probably the first daylight he's had all year. So again, it's very important, very imperative to continue to have your kids play hard and don't play dirty. Just play hard and play through. And when the game's over, look at the film and as Bill Belichick would say, it's on to Watertown.
Excellent way to put it. Okay.
But again, it's high school. These are high school kids.
Smolinski back to punt again. A little bit of pressure. He gets the ball away, and it's going to come down and bounces once and recovered or down by the Wildcats. Shane Roberts at the 33-yard line, where Melrose will take over.
I have never seen in a game such poor play by both teams on punts. That's like the 3rd time they almost muffed a punt, and this team is up 48-6. This team is a team that will compete in Division IV on the state level. And, again, sort of like what used to happen in Alabama. Saban had great teams, but he had poor special teams and always ended up costing them. So you got to play all 3 facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. So something for Melrose to learn.
Trevor Botto, number 7, still in at quarterback for the Raiders. Jake Rowe, number 33, in the backfield. Handoff is to number 9, Mark Alward, who sprints out to the left side, and he's stopped for a loss of a few yards. Good play in the defensive right front for the Wildcats. Bailey Smith over there.
Again, that's things you want to look for. How hard are they playing? Bailey's playing hard through the whole play. Makes the tackle in the backfield. The guy had gotten a step on him. Bailey used a quick burst of speed with good tackling skills to tackle him. Playing hard through the game, even though we're at running time. Who's going to show up here to at least play hard and put the effort in, even though they're getting blown out?
2nd and 12. Kind of a tough snap. Given to Alward again, who stopped for a short gain, a couple of yards back to the original line of scrimmage. 32-yard line.
There, the defensive line stood up there, offensive line allowing your linebackers to make plays. still got the band playing hard though too. So
that's good.
Overall,
I should mention, I heard at halftime that Bob Rometti, longtime band director of Wilmington High School, has announced that she'll be retiring at the end of this school year. So I have to credit her for an awful lot of good musicians that have come out of Wilmington High School and gone on to play in college and professionally.
not any of my kids though.
No whistle blew before the actual snap of the ball. Looks like an illegal procedure.
No musicians in my family, Chris.
And we're going to leave it right at that comment.
No, you know what we play the best in my house? We play the radio the best.
That's okay.
We're good
Excellent.
at that.
Okay. 5-yard penalty for the Raiders brings them back to the 27-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 15.
And again, let's keep playing hard.
Yeah, keep playing hard and let the clock continue to tick down. 9 minutes to go in the game.
I have to give credit to my partner, Mr. Neville, here, as he because they have switched every single player on Melrose from what we had on our
Terrell Lyles
sheet.
is 24. He's in the backfield, and he takes the handoff, and he's stopped for no gain. Actually, a loss of a yard. A lot of younger kids in the game now on both sides. Probably a credit to both coaches that you don't want to see anybody get hurt. The game is not even a factor at this point. You just want to get through it.
Yep, but you're doing a bang-up job with the numbers.
I just I have to give credit to Adam Dusenberry, our producer, because we have a nice monitor in the control booth in the booth now. We can actually look at the monitor and see the numbers clearer than I can from the field. So
still, these are not easy games to call.
Punt is away, almost blocked by Bailey Smith, who continues to play hard. Picked up on the run and out to the 50, across midfield. Not sure, was not
24.
Okay, so that was Jared Vanessa on the return. Oh,
Valley. I think it was
Kyle Valley. Okay, 24.
Sorry.
Okay, couldn't see it from here. Whoever it was a nice return of about 12 or 15 yards.
Chris's spotter doesn't give good enough hand signals for him. That's his problem. So
the Wildcats will take over the Melrose 46-yard line, 7:37 to go. A lot of starters still in for the Wildcats on offense. Germano pitches it back to his brother John, who actually, not sure if that was, okay, it was an incomplete pass. Very close to a lateral. Cats might have caught a little bit of a break there. That was pretty close. When you see it on replay, you can decide for yourself. So 2nd and 10.
You would imagine they have made that play in the street or in their backyard many times in their lifetime, and the quarterback decided not to lead the brother receiver, and I could see him flailing his hands around there. It's going to be an interesting conversation at the dinner table tomorrow night.
Handoff actually faked, and once again another Germano to Germano combination goes incomplete. Peter intended for John, incomplete at the 50-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd and 10.
Oh, family strife. I understand the idea there. This is a play, I think, even as they move forward with whoever they have quarterbacking, whether it's Ciampa or McCauley or Germano. That quick pass to get the guy into space seems to work. And it's worked in each game of this season. But again, experience will help.
Right up the middle to Valley, finds good running room, and he's going to be actually across the 35 for 1st down. Good 12-yard gain for the senior. Oh, Bailey Smith, I'm sorry. Yeah, game's getting long.
Yeah, they're really far away, though. I got my binoculars going now.
As you've mentioned, though, Jim, Bailey is still playing very hard out there.
Correct. That's what you want to see. The offensive line, they're blocking, they're tough. Everyone is at least putting in 100% effort. You don't want to see them dragging down, heads down. That'll happen after the game. They'll
another handoff to Smith, good running room, another almost 9 yards taken down inside the 30.
Let's see him punch this ball in here, get them up to 12 to 13, and give Bailey the opportunities against this unit of defense that Melrose has to get some openings. And again, it can be beneficial as they go forward that they have some success here, because they're not going to play teams as tough and big as this Melrose. It's tough. We are in a very, very Middlesex Freedom or Middlesex Liberty. These are tough football leagues, teams that we're playing, and experience can only help.
Handoff again to Smith.
Got
Tries
the
to
edge.
make it around left tackle, and he does, and he's down inside for first down at the 19-yard line.
So it looks like they're going to want to try to punch this one in, running the ball. Bailey's going to be the workhorse. Help him get positive yardage. That's the second time in the second half he's gotten to the edge and turned the edge to make positive yards. He also had a defensive play where he ran the guy down on the edge, going to the other side. So always good to see your seniors lead the way in situations like this.
Right up the middle again to Bailey Smith, who scampers for about 2 or 3 yards at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, I think he hurt himself there. Yeah, he's going to limp off the field.
You know, carried the ball 4 times in a row. And Joe DeMonico comes in at the running back position. They are just so thin with experienced and skilled players.
Correct.
You know, coach has given them a lot of the younger kids reps, but it's got to be a little bit discouraging. 4 receivers split out wide. Germano back to pass, looks downfield, throws it down the middle, and it's knocked down. Good defensive play by, let's see, I thought I saw 23, and that's not on the roster. So the D-back for the Red Raiders made a nice play on that, blocked it at the goal line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 7.
He was looking for Erickson on the play. Again, the whole, I hate to watch, but he's got his eyes right on Erickson all the way. He had his brother and Turner out to the right. If he had looked that way, he had somebody open that side.
Actually, Rob Colazzo did the breakup on that, number 23. I'm looking at the wrong score sheet. Germano hands off down the middle to DeMonico, who spins his way inside the 10. He's close to a first down. I think he might be a couple inches short. We'll find out.
We're going to have a 4th and short.
2:54 left in the game. Clock continues to run, and the Wildcats do pick up a first down. So it'll be 1st and goal here, and from the 8-yard line. And right now it's a matter of just pride, trying to knock another one into the end zone.
Correct. And they were in this situation earlier in the half. And again, you don't want to eat the ball if you're the quarterback. Keep giving the ball to your running backs and try to punch it in here.
Smith now runs right up through the middle, and he's down to the 3-yard line.
So at least you can take something positive out of a very just a tough night.
I was mistaken. It was not quite 1st and goal. It was at the 14, so now they're down. 2nd down at the 4 anyway. We'll see what happens. And Smith looks like he's made his way in the end zone. Yes. So Bailey Smith finally gets a little bit of redeeming grace tonight. Notches it in for the bulk of the carries there, and Wildcats have come up with another touchdown as we go late into the game. 1:42 to go.
Again, you're right. It's a matter of pride. You know, there's not a lot that can happen on the scoreboard. You're just want to continue to play hard. It's good leadership, good senior leadership that they continue to do that. And again, we might actually run the clock out before we have to kick off again here. So I'm assuming that they're going to go.
Wildcats are going to go for 2, correct? So Venezia is the blocking back. Smith still the ball carrier. Fake lets the ball go downfield, complete, and it's going to be into the end zone for 2-point conversion. Jared Venezia picks up the 2 points. Fake handoff up the middle. Good ball handling. So we'll give the Wildcats credit for hanging in there. 50 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah, good play fake by Germano. Absolutely right.
So 48-14 here. Don't know if we're going to have enough time to get the kickoff as the clock continues to run. 40 seconds to go.
I would have to guess that we won't see a kickoff.
I would have to agree, yeah.
For safety reasons and everything else, we don't need to kick the ball off. We're going to see the game end at 48-14.
I see the referee is coming over, and he's basically telling him knock it off. Yeah, okay.
So real quickly before we wrap up, this is one of those games where, you know, it's over. Turn the page. We're going to go forward. We're going to not even think about this game tonight. First thoughts tomorrow morning was Watertown all the way through, and it's the only way you can handle something like this. especially when you get beat up pretty bad. So go shake hands. Congratulate a team that might be tough in the state tournament.
Well, they were the Super Bowl champs a couple of years ago, and they certainly look like they could repeat again this year. Solid team, Melrose Red Raiders. Congratulations to them. Final score tonight is Melrose 48, Wilmington Wildcats 14. We'll be back 2 weeks from tonight. Next week, the Wildcats travel down to Watertown High School to play Watertown, and we'll be back here again in a couple of weeks, I guess, and hopefully see a little bit better result for the Wildcats. For our production crew tonight, Adam Dusenberry down in the control room, Sean Guiney, Marty McHugh, Paul Hipple down the field, who only got hit by one football from what he told me at halftime. I want to thank you for joining us on WCTV, and thanks for joining us. Have a great night, great weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.